phenomenon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ricki Lake.
The lady is hot. Her daytime talk show is the first in 10 years to challenge the queen of daytime, Oprah. In the process, she's become a bona fide superstar. Her show managed to break out of the pack, leaving the other 26 talk shows in the dust. Now there isn't a person under 25 that doesn't know her. Topics that might seem outrageous to some are a real part of the daily lives of the people she's trying to reach every day.
Today they'll face off with their disapproving mothers and say, yeah, Mom, I'm only 13, but I'm gonna make a baby. Any idea how much it costs to take care of a baby?
No.
You have no idea? You haven't thought that through, huh?
Well, I know it'll cost a lot, but I probably won't be able to handle it.
Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Ricki Pamela Lake was a typical kid growing up in a suburb of New York City, except she had a seemingly impossible dream. Behind the closed doors of her chauffeur-driven car, Ricki talked candidly about her childhood and showbiz.
I was a kid with, you know, a weight problem, and I had braces, and I had pimples, and, you know, I wasn't the ideal, you know, television type. And so my mom just tried to, you know, get me away. You know, why don't you go be a doctor? Why don't you, think of something else? And I really wanted to pursue it. And I would take the train, 12 years old, by myself down to the city and just try to pursue what I wanted to do.
Ricki tried everything, auditioning for plays, commercials, singing at small clubs, anything for a break.
Once when I interviewed Shaquille O'Neal, I asked if he, when he was a little boy, used to practice his autograph, and he said yes. You do that?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah, and at one point I changed my name when I was 5 years old. I changed my name to Laura Ingalls because I was obsessed with Little House on the Prairie. I just had this dream, this fantasy of wanting to be famous, wanting everyone to know me, wanting to have all eyes on me.
As a teenager, Ricki pursued the big time full-time. And at age 19, she hit, landing the leading role in the cult film Hairspray. Within a year, Ricki hit it big again, with a recurring role in the Emmy-winning TV show China Beach. But as quickly as success came, it left. China Beach was canceled. At 21, Ricki found herself single, unemployed, scrambling to make her rent, and weighed in at over 250 pounds. For the next 3 years, she dedicated herself to reinventing herself, losing 150 pounds. Forced to start over in 1993, she auditioned with hundreds of other women to host a new talk show, one that would become the fastest rising in TV history.
Well, my guests today, they're here to say, I'm sick of kids treating me like dirt just because I'm fat.
I don't eat lunch at school because the kids make fun of me too much.
What do they say to you?
They call me names and say I'll break the table.
They say you break the table.
I think that one of the things that really captured us about Ricki was that though she was young, she really had this wealth of experience, having grown up a heavy adolescent, where she had an empathy for people and a sensitivity and understanding that is rare even in people twice her age.
And it's interesting that you're all different sizes, but the name calling still hurts the same, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. We always think of Ricki as being basically like your sister who you can confide in.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Good morning, cheers. This show breaks my heart.
I remember an article a few years ago, you said you had a hard time looking in the mirror sometimes. What do you...
I still do.
You still do?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I guess, everybody's looking at you with, this microscope, and they're looking at every detail of your life and the way you look, and it's just...
And they watch what you eat, and they report on it when you gain 10 or lose 10. I mean, I've gone through it, too.
Yes, it does, but it's partially my own fault, because, after you lose over 100 pounds, I was shouting to the world, to anyone that would listen, listen to me, because it's my biggest accomplishment. It's something that I never, ever thought I would be able to do. And, you know, compared to having a talk show, I mean, that is what's really hard, losing weight and keeping it off.
Well, now that's interesting, though. Is there any concern about peaking at 27? And, like, where do you go then? Where do you go after this?
If the show business thing doesn't pan out for me in the long run, I have a backup plan. You know, one of my dreams is to go back to college and to finish and to pursue another career entirely.
Charles, you said that you like to hang out with your friends, and most of your friends don't go to school, but you also said that you've been punished and kept in the house for 2 years.
What helped Ricki break the talk show mold was her appeal. When everybody else was just trying to reach the typical daytime audience, women, Ricki went a different way, not only reaching, but connecting with teenagers.
Where Donahue might do, my daughter dresses like a tramp, we would do, my mom disapproves of the way I dress, so we take it from the point of view of the young person.
In fact, her staff is made up mostly of kids fresh out of college.
The staff itself is young, knows what songs are hip, knows who's cool, who isn't. You can't fake cool, and your staff has to sort of be cool. And I think we have a pretty cool staff. And it's kind of uncool to say cool, but they are. They really are.
She's cool. She doesn't put them on the spot. She doesn't want to embarrass them. She wants to listen to them. She wants to talk to them, and she cares.
But I wanted to keep going with it because...
No, you were right.
Did you see them making out?
Oh, my God.
What would people be surprised the most about you? I mean, what don't they know about you?
I think it looks like I'm in control and I know what I'm doing, but I think deep down in my own life, I have still a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of insecurities. Back when I was 250 pounds, I was so accepting of my looks, and it seems now I'm harder on myself than ever. Now that I've looked,
well, maybe you could hide underneath all of that back then. You think that has something to do with it, too?
I'm sure. I'm still figuring that out in therapy.
It's interesting because I was going to ask you, why do people come on your show? Maybe they come on your show because they can't go to a therapist.
I am like a poor man's therapist in a way.
And there's never a shortage of patience.
Okay, you got a site? Yeah. All right, cool.
Do you have a sexy secret that is haunting you? If you need to get this secret off your chest, you could be a guest.
Call 1-800-GO-RICKY, and you could be a guest on Ricki Lake.
They get over 50,000 calls a week. With that number of calls from people all over the country, and with the credibility of the show at stake, they have to make sure every guest is telling the truth.
Okay, because we have to be real sure about this, because all this has to check out before someone's on the show. We don't want to put anyone on that's not really... Last name is Jenks, that I have it, Jenks.
I should tell you, it goes as far as us looking at a guest or a set of guests on stage during the show. Are they smiling when they shouldn't be smiling? Are they giving knowing glances to one another when people wouldn't be doing that if it was a mother and daughter? We do that very routinely.
Stop.
Let's find the guy and have him removed.
Are they just moving him to a different seat, or they're removing him?
Ricki tapes more than 200 programs a year. But despite her hectic schedule, Ricki still finds the time to work beside her husband, political cartoonist Rob Sussman. Together with her producer, Stuart Krasnow, they're writing and illustrating a children's book, not coincidentally, about an overweight little girl.
All these people were coming at me to write my life story about how I changed my life. And I really wasn't ready to do that at 26. But I thought, you know, here's something that I could do and I could really get passionate about and believe in.
The conversation then turned to the private life of Ricki and Rob, the life they live behind closed doors.
Tell me how you met. Was it love at first sight?
Yeah, or certainly lust at first sight. You know, at a Halloween party. Well, I mean, it certainly became love, you know. But yes, you know, scoped each other out at a party and then had dinner. And then went home together. So it was
And that was it. Stayed together ever since.
Right.
People probably have a picture of her, what she's like. I mean, what don't they know?
I mean, she doesn't go in and facilitate all this sort of like conflict resolution in a restaurant or something. I mean, she's like, you know, she's my wife, and she's just this normal woman. And
it's funny because when we fight, I'm a big baby. I'm very stubborn. You know, I'm constantly. It's the hardest thing. It's like pulling teeth to get me to say I'm sorry. He's actually the much more rational one of the two of us when it comes to you know, conflict.
Now, so.
I know.
Let me get this straight. You are 18 and your biological clock is ticking?
Yeah. What if you were the guest on this show? What would the topic be? What would that clever little topic be that they would promote all week long?
God, I don't know. First of all, I don't know if I'd be a guest on this show.
Whoa,
Because I like hosting. I like being in control. I'm a control freak, I think, and so I like being on the other end. But if they were to do a show about me, I don't know. Fat girl gone good. I don't know. I don't know.
Ricki Lake behind closed doors. Ricki Lake is still on a roll personally and professionally. She's the proud mom of a little boy named Milo. Her show is still going strong, and Ricki looks better than ever. We'll be right back.